Bag, I want the bag. Work my way from a garden to a track. Flip it from a track to a plot full of acres. Do it for the farmers and the producers and the makers. What we even here for? Occasionally I ask it. I know it's more than struggling, anticipating the casket. Reap what we sow, trying to fill up my basket. Life's a plantation, I self-law and master. Over the plot I've been granted on this planet. Now it's slanted, cause the chosen been supplanted. But if you overstand it, it was spoken. Fractured, but we ain't broken. Even though some would rather play the role of token, we growing. Black through the essence of a presence. We carry the blood of gods, we carry the mind of peasants. Rich black gardens, future look more like Eden. Multiply seeds like the seed banks in Sweden. Rep my planners on plan according to season. B1 code, switching it up is treason. Black power, family what we eat. Either we get fed or we feed. B1AG.
What's going on? What is growing on? What is growing on? Welcome to B1AG. I'm John Henry Harris. We have Farmer Brown, the MC. Here at B1AG, we focus on Black agriculture as it pertains to agricultural production, education, marketing, health, food, nutrition, and economics, all for the Black family and the Black community. I hope your day is going well. I hope you're in a growth mind state. And we are back with another story. And we have a serious question. Now, here at B1AG, of course, our talks are agricultural based. And, you know, we live on this proverbial farm. And while we are on this farm and these fences start to get tighter and tighter on us, what are you going to do? Now, these fences that we're speaking of are these mandates, and people are having to make real life decisions concerning these mandates and their employment. So today we're really going to talk about these mandates. There was a story that came, a poll that the Washington Post and ABC News, they took. And the poll was, you know, jab or job. And a whopping 67% of those polled said they would quit. So we're going to look at this dynamic mandates. 60% say they will quit. But more importantly, we're going to also relate this to food security and how that will affect food security. If you have over half the country saying they will quit their job. Farmer Brown, let's dive deep.
First, I'd just like to say peace to the B1 family. Hope everybody's doing well. It's a wonderful time to be alive. I'll say interesting time to be alive. Peace, Illmatic 323. So when we think about what happened with Southwest flights, and so the narrative, as it said, oh, it was weather, but it was about 2,000 flights canceled a few days ago. It was said specifically because of weather. Reportedly canceled 2,000 flights this past weekend, citing issues of weather and limited staffing at Florida airports. ATC issues and disruptive weather have resulted in a high volume of cancellations throughout the weekend. But depending on how deep you dove into what were the dynamics going on, I don't think there was a lot of other airplanes or companies that had these same issues. Some were saying, you know, a lot of these workers wasn't really with that appointment with Dr. Jabinski. And so here at B1AG, we do like to frame our conversation around agriculture and our food security. And so we think about agriculture and its related industries. It provides 10.9% of U.S. employment. That's 22.2 million full-time and part-time jobs in the ag sector. When we think about the restaurant industry, and so the U.S. restaurant industry is 12.5 million workers. And so as we have this conversation, you know, we're not here to give medical advice. We're here to talk about food security as it relates to the melanated community. What if this 67, we'll say 70% dynamic of people say that I ain't with it, manifest into the food sector, the agricultural sector? What does this look like, fam?
Well, according to national statistics from the National Restaurant Association, as far as the impact on the U.S. restaurant industry, there are about 12.5 million restaurant industry employees. So 67% of that number is what, Farmer Brown?
8,375,000. And so I guess to break this down, first of all, so when these mandates came about, that goal was the guy sitting in the office said, we want to make sure 80 million more Americans get this. We want to make sure 80 million more Americans get this. And since they don't want to go on their own volition, then I'm going to go at companies that employ 100 or more people and put these mandates. I would definitely encourage the family to look up the legal precedents of mandates, but we're not going to get in that piece of it. But when we do the math of that, and so out of 80 million, 67% of 80 million people that is being targeted, that's 53.6 million people that said that they don't want to get it out of this 80 million that, this target. What that equates to, if you broke it down per state, this is 1.1 million people per 50 states that said I ain't with it. Okay, how can we break this down more? This 67 percentile. So 67% of 12.5 million people, and this is your restaurant industry, this equates to 167,000 per state. If we're looking at it nationally, this is 375 million. When we look at agriculture, this is 22.2 million people nationally. And so if 67% of the people that work in agriculture say, no, I ain't with it, that's 14.8 million people. And if you break it down per 50 states, about 300,000 per state that say that they don't want to get it. So as we have this conversation talking about our food security, what are we prepared to do as a melanated family? Our thing is you got to do what works best for you, your family, and your community. As Dr. Boyce says, it's none ya. I think we know where we stand. I think what's overstood doesn't need to be explained. But when we think about our food security, when we think about these talks that we have about these food squares, when we think about the concept of our food coming from fast food where we don't even talk to people no more, we're talking to machines. When we think about gas prices going up, this is going to affect your Uber drivers, your Lyft drivers, your DoorDash. And so is this going to create a higher price tag if you just say, okay, well, since all this going on, I just get my meals delivered. As we're going into this concept that that guy in the White House calls the dark winter, when we talk about this perfect storm.
I know they thought this out before they rolled this out. But watching it unfold the way it is, again, these fences are getting closer and closer and closer. How resilient are we as a people? How much of a stance? Like, what is your breaking point? And before you break, we don't want you to break. What are you willing to do to keep from breaking? What are you willing to do to stand strong? Are you willing to do something drastic? Or will you even do something simple like grow some food?
If you're underwater and you want to breathe, there's going to be a struggle. I don't want to drown, so I'm going to struggle. That's just getting you to ground level from drowning. But there's also a struggle if you're climbing a mountain. My legs. My arms. And so you're going to struggle either way. As above, so below. This struggle climbing up a mountain is learning something new. And, when we're talking about melanated people, this actually isn't new. This is what our ancestors did. This is how civilizations were built. This was the first task in Eden, or whatever you want to call that original theater. Be fruitful and multiply. The word fruit, well, where do you get fruit from? It comes from a plant. Well, where does this plant come from? It's something in the ground that's going to produce a fruit, that's going to produce seeds. As we grow and multiply, we're going to need more people to eat, and so we multiply these seeds. These same concepts apply when it comes to, okay, now how are we going to address this need? One of the conversations we have, on subject but off, and so agriculture anyway, there's about 35,000 jobs a year that don't get filled because there's not enough people going into agriculture. This is one of the reasons why we even got into this field, realizing like, man, we got all of these melanated people around here, people looking for new jobs, people looking for ways to contribute to the country, the world, and there's 35,000 jobs to get unfilled in the food production industry. And so when you apply that to, okay, we know there's 22 million people that are in this industry, and we know almost 70% of them say, I ain't with it. I'm not going to go to this food processor. I'm not going to go out to this farm. We know Tyson Foods is one of the main proponents that's, hey, Joe, what do we need to do so we can stay compliant? And so what if, I got to jump down the rabbit hole for the sake of this conversation. It just came to me. Pardon me for digressing. There's a concept I hope the family will look up for themselves. It's called SLUFFING. SLUFFING, to keep it simple, stupid, is basically, okay, I caught something, or, I got something inserted in me, and now I think I'm fine. This guy on TV said I'm fine now that I have this, but now my loved ones, the people I care about, the place where I work, I might be working over meat, I might be working over produce, and my body is sloughing whatever this is that is now part of me. So a piece of whatever this is now going into your food. So that's one thing to think about. And this is in the mind of somebody that's like, I just want to do my job. I want to be responsible. I want to make sure people eat. That's one dynamic. If they're successful. Okay, if you don't have the people that's like, no, I just don't want to do it. I can't afford to, take this chance. It's still in the experimental phase. It's kind of rushed. So I'm just not going to go to work. So now this is going to put either an overload on the few that do decide to stay there, meaning, okay, if I have less people in my processing plant, if I have less people on my farm, guess who's going to be doing a lot more sweating? What's understood don't need to be explained. I'm going to be doing a lot more sweating. How do we emit some of these sicknesses? It's through, bodily fluids. Whether I'm on an assembly line, whether I'm in a processing plant, whether I'm in a restaurant, if I'm overworking myself, guess what? I'm sloughing. I'm spreading whatever this is. If there's less people working, what is this going to affect? If somebody came in here to buy something, if whatever I'm processing is going to be packaged and shipped to one of these stores, it's going to affect that process. It's funny. The vice president was talking about the other day. You might want to get your Christmas shopping done early. And they had the cute little Christmas music playing in the background, putting these spells on you. I need you to shop, shop, shop. But they're not addressing these issues that are directly affecting our food security. And so one of our intents behind this B1AG conversation, we're kind of acting as the agricultural mosquito, reminding you the importance of knowing local producers, reminding you the importance of to prepare for whatever 2022, 2023 and beyond have. Yesterday was the perfect time to understand on your own how to start growing food, how to start networking with people that already grow food. When we think about curriculums to start teaching our kids, we need to make it normal to our people that we need to produce something that we can consume. Because like you said, I do believe what we're dealing with, they're ignorant in many ways, but they're not stupid. They understood, okay, I'm going to put these mandates in place. They look at the videos and they'll see like 10,000 dislikes and 2 likes, when these mandates and some of these different protocols come out. So they're very well aware of the public sentiment when it comes to this topic. And so, okay, I know the majority of the population ain't with this, but I'm going to still do it. I wouldn't do that unless I had a plan. What is it? Problem, reaction, solution. And so I know if all of these people quit, boom, this enables me to introduce these robots. or it enables me to starve you out, because I'm banking on y'all are going to be plugged into these devices looking at what I'm going to do next, and y'all are going to leave these pots outside empty. Y'all ain't going to go storing no seeds. Y'all ain't going to get off the devices and go talk to some real people that produce foods or go visit these farmers markets. Y'all aren't going to be having y'all's conversations about establishing local food systems. So they're banking on a certain dependency.
I'm just going to keep it funky with y'all, family. Before there was ever talk of mandates, food insecurity was an issue. And two of the major factors that influence food insecurity is unemployment and poverty. This is before there was ever talk of a mandate. This is what World Health Hunger Organizations, they pointed out that unemployment and poverty are the two of the main influences for food insecurity rates. Now, these mandates directly affect unemployment and poverty.
Bruh, I thought this was about health. I thought this was about keeping everybody healthy and safe.
Well, unless their idea of healthy and safe is unemployed and impoverished, and therefore facing food insecurity, that's not the kind of health I want. Now, you can be unemployed. You don't have to be in poverty. That's the great thing that, what was given to us on this earth. We rely so much on, we need to go back to the ground, the essence, the ground, the earth, the dirt. What was given to us by something that they didn't create. They didn't create this. They didn't create this earth. They didn't create this ground. That's what was given to us. So there's that old system, the natural way of life. We cannot forget that. We cannot take that for granted. That's what was given to us 4 times as such. Take it back to Black to the Garden, y'all.
The average human being, individual, eats 200 square feet worth of produce in a year. 200 square feet. A family of 4, 800 square feet of produce in a year. Here on Turtle Island, what we call North America, there's 1.9 billion acres of land. Humans only live on 75% of the humans in North America only live on 3% of the land. 75% of us only live on 3% of 1.9 billion acres. What does that mean? That means there's a lot of space. Does this mean you can just go post up on anybody's land and just start growing food? Nah, it ain't that simple. But does this mean that, my mathematicians, my people that know how to make something out of nothing, does this mean we can make more uses of the spaces that we're around? Because if I'm unemployed because I don't want to go have that appointment, I'm going to have to fill my 24 hours up with something. And so, there's something about intent. When I have this intent to learn something new, when I have this intent to learn how to feed myself, feed my family, you're going to learn it. While we still have access to these platforms, we saw how quick Facebook and other information sharing platforms can go down. While we still have access to them, are we looking up how to plant food where we're at? Do we have the cooperative extension number on deck in whatever county we're living in, just to make sure, hey, I got this little plot of land over here and I want to make sure my soil's good. I want to make sure I got proper water. What are some of the best plants that I can put here? These are all conversations we can have, even in a situation where the computers go down. I'm all for prepping, but I think there's also a space where we got to be very practical. A lot of us are condensed in cities where, it's just dense. The practicality of everybody just starting gardens in their home and backyard isn't going to happen. That doesn't mean that a critical amount of us that understand, getting in that Noah mindset, okay, we see this storm is coming. Okay, a lot of these people around here, they don't know a storm's coming, but the Most High done put this in my mind that something's coming. So let me go on and start learning how to grow something now. We know that when you're talking about certain leafy greens, your kale, your collards, these are 25, 30 days ready to harvest. We're thinking about onions, we're thinking about tomatoes, 50, 60 days. But really being practical about what are some things, okay, maybe we're not going for just a 5-star cuisine. Maybe we just want to make sure we're getting our daily nutrient intake. But what can we grow where we're at? If you live in an apartment, if you live in a house, wherever you live, there's space to grow something. The more of us growing something, that literally cuts away at this dependency, because somebody, I guarantee, is depending that we're not gonna be up for the challenge of feeding ourselves.
And as more people do choose to walk away from their jobs, one thing, one mantra we live by here at B1AG is that many hands make light work. So the more of us melanated peoples that get back to the garden, get black to the garden, that job, that daunting job of becoming food secure, it does get easier. The more shovels we have in the ground, more seeds we have in the ground, the more people that we have back working the ground, the more food will be produced, the more people will be fed. The less worry there will be about how am I going to eat. Many hands make light work. Let's get to work, y'all.
I just want to drill the point. We're being very codified here. We know 67 to 70% of Americans say that they're not with it. They're not with it. I don't want it. 67 to 70%. When it comes to the restaurant workers, what do restaurants do? They're a place where food is distributed. We know that a large percentage of Americans, this is where they get their food from a restaurant. So if 67 to 70% of the 12.5 million restaurant workers in North America decide, no, I'm not cool, that's 8.4 million people that's not going to be in the food system. That's not going to be in the restaurant making sure you get your burger, your steak, whatever it is. If 67 to 70% of agricultural workers, this is 22.2 million, decide, no, I ain't with it, that is 14.8 million workers that aren't going to be within the food system producing food. Once again, we're not here to give any sort of advice. We know where we stand. We got a good idea where the rest of the melanated family stands, but for the sake of practicality, we got to get our prints in the mud, family. We got to get our prints in the mud. I doubt there's going to be a rocket ship or spaceship come down and just beam us up and take us to another planet and feed us. But we have been endowed by the Most High to feed ourselves. We have been endowed by the blood and experience, epigenetics, through DNA of our ancestors to be predispositioned to know how to make this land do what it do. And we're coming up on that time. As we come up on this dark winter, this is a great time to start some greens, some leafy greens, things that you can grow indoors, even if it's just a trial run. But this is a great time to learn how to grow some food, family. We have some changes coming that are coming rapidly.
So I know that we're up for the task. We're up for the task. We were made for this task to survive. Tell you what, Farmer Brown, things are changing very fast in this world. We're going to keep pushing here at B1AG this message of food security. It is a basic right. It's a human right. We all have the right to eat. We all have the same need to eat. And we will keep pushing this message to make sure that we have a seat at the proverbial dinner table. And we will have our own grand harvest.
Bruh, I'm trying to inspire at least 10,000. I'm on my Birdman now. I'm trying to inspire 10,000 young melanated boys and girls to go into forestry to build our own tables.
Get that table making operation going. Who needs IKEA? Not talking bad about IKEA, but you know.
We got this, family. I see nothing but opportunity. No man has the power to destroy what the Most High has created. And we were all given the spirit of discernment, and we weren't given the spirit of fear. But I'm from the school of thought: no pain, no gain. Dr. Boyce the other day was talking about Taraji P. Henson. Sometimes you just gotta pay your dues. Sometimes you're not gonna get paid up front for what it is you do, but you're creating value. To learn how to grow food, to learn how to produce something that people need. Dope is an option. Food is not an option.
We all have to eat.
To learn how to produce it, distribute it, process it, clean it, store it. It's a win-win.
Now, family, I need y'all like, share, and support this platform. We all got to eat. Now, we got to feed this algorithm. We got to feed the algorithm by pushing the black algorithm. So like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's make this a larger conversation. We need to talk about this every day. We need to make sure that food security is on our minds every day. Food, then agriculture, it permeates every walk of life. Everything we do all boils down to agriculture, because if we don't eat, nothing else happens. The only thing happens when we don't eat is that you begin to perish. And that is not living. So we want to thrive in this world. We want to make sure that we make it to the next day, to the next generation. And at the heart of that is we got to eat. We have to eat. So let's push this black algorithm. Like, share, and subscribe to the Daily Bread, to B1AG Daily Bread podcast on YouTube. We're also at the Black Boss channel. So, again, Farmer Brown, great conversation. B1AG family, I hope you're beginning to put your seeds in the ground. Even if you don't have them in the ground, let's go ahead and start gathering up your seeds and preparing. Let's make sure that we're preparing. They keep trying to scare us with this dark winter. Let's not buy into that. We can control our own circumstances. We can make sure we've been making do since the beginning of time, and let's continue to make do, and not just make do, but make it do what it do. Can you feel me? So, at the end of the day, Farmer Brown, we talk about, we draw from a lot of different sources for knowledge. But if you really want to know something, bro, what do we need to do?
If you really want to know something, let's invoke that agripreneurial ancestral spirit, and let's learn how to grow something.
There it is, y'all. Let's get these seeds in the ground. Hey, have a wonderful day. Be prosperous. Don't nobody tell you that. If nobody says I love you, hey, we love you, and we'll catch you next time. I'm John Henry Harris. We have Farmer Brown EMC, and see you soon. Peace.